Meeting of October 15, 2008 is called to order. This meeting has been properly noticed and posted in compliance with the open meeting law. These proceedings are being presented live on KCLV Cable Channel 2 and are closed captioned for our hearing impaired viewers. The Redevelopment Agency meeting, as well as all other KCLV programming, can be viewed on the city's website at www.kclv.tv, and the proceedings will be rebroadcast on KCLV Channel 2 and the web the Wednesday of the meeting at 8 p.m., and also on Friday at 4 a.m., Saturday at 7 p.m., Sunday at 7 a.m., and the following Monday at 1 p.m. As we always announce, we have a state-of-the-art fire detection and suppression sprinkler system in these chambers here, so should alarms activate, please leave through the exits, and our marshals will tell you when it's safe to return. We just make this announcement as a matter of caution and no reason to believe that the alarms will ever activate. So with that, we'll call item number 3, which is approval of the final minutes by reference of the regular Redevelopment Agency meeting of September 17, 2008.
Yes, Your Honor. No additions or deletions. I'll make a motion for approval of the minutes, please.
All right, let's vote on that, please. Post. Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 4 is RA 15-2008, discussion and possible action regarding a resolution finding the project proposed by the Commercial Visual Improvement Program agreement between the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency and MV Star Group, LLC, located at 1414 to 1418 South 3rd Street, to be in compliance with and in furtherance of the goals and objectives of the redevelopment plan, and authorizing the execution of the CVIP agreement by the RDA, $50,000 RDA Special Revenue Fund. This is in Ward 3, and this item is related to the later item, number 59. Mr. Adams.
Good morning. Scott Adams, Operations Officer of the RDA. This first item on the agenda respects a VIP agreement for property on South 3rd at 1414 to South 3rd Street, the Star Motel. It comprises a substantial rehab of the property. On the overhead there, I've got some shots showing on the left what exists in terms of the existing appearance of the property, and then their sketch of what their planned improvements are on the right. The total scope of improvements would be for an amount of $236,000. Includes things such as a new stone veneer, replacement of the windows and doors, new decorative posts, refurbishing the sign, new trash enclosure, new gate and fencing, repairing and repainting the exterior, new landscaping, and repairing and resurfacing the parking lot. So it's a very much complete rehab of the exterior and should make a substantial visual improvement to the property. Our participation would be capped as usual at $50,000, and so consequently the owner is going to be matching that considerably by considerably more, given the total project is $236,000. So with all those comments, staff recommends approval, and we do have a representative of the property here if you have any questions.
Very good. Would you be kind enough to identify yourself?
I'm Gilda Versales, owner of the property that we're discussing, Star Motel.
Do you have the financing at this time available to participate in the renovation?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Are there any other questions? All right. Hearing none, may I have a motion, please?
Yes, Your Honor. You know, Scott, I really am thankful that for this agency that we're able to do this for some of our business people downtown. You know, we're spending a lot of time and effort downtown, and I really believe that what we're doing is the correct thing to do. I know that I know this property. I know that the $50,000 is, when you look at the whole scope of the thing, it's not really that much, but it does show people that the city does care and that we want to help people redevelop their properties and stuff. And I'm glad that the program is available. I know that there's been a lot of success stories, and so I just hope that this here helps bring your business back alive and helps you in the ways that you need to have help. And so I'm going to make a motion for approval of this item with those comments.
Very good. Thank you. Let's vote on that, please.
Thank you.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 5 is RA 16-2008, discussion and possible action regarding a resolution finding the project proposed by the Commercial Visual Improvement Program agreement between the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency and YSPM Investment LLC, located at 1150 South Las Vegas Boulevard, to to be in compliance with and in furtherance of the goals and objectives of the redevelopment plan, and authorizing the execution of the CVIP agreement to the RDA. This is in Ward 3, and this item is related to council item number 60. Mr. Adams.
Okay, this is another motel, the Econo Lodge at 1150 South Las Vegas Boulevard, which we have in consideration for another visual improvement grant. This is a very similar project. The scope of this project is almost $24,000, which we would participate by $50,000. Again, there's a lot of improvements to include a new stone veneer, window improvements, a lot of repainting, facade improvements, and improvements to landscaping in the parking lot. Again, I have photos showing on the left what the property currently looks like, and then on the right some typical sections of elevation shots showing what the typical planned improvements would be in different locations on the property. Again, our participation would be capped at $50,000, so again, this property owner is considerably overmatching our participation on this project. And we do have a representative of the property here to answer any questions.
Thank you. Would you be kind enough to identify yourself?
I am I am Virgilio Blaquera, and I'm the general manager of the property.
Do you know, sir, whether or not you have the financing in place to carry out your end of the bargain?
Yes, sir.
Very good, thank you. All right, any other questions? All right, Mayor Pro Tem?
Yes, Your Honor, without being redundant, the same motion I made on the last item, the same comments, I move for approval of this item also, following staff's recommendation.
Very good, let's vote on that, please. Post? Motion carries, thank you.
Mayor?
Thank you.
Yes.
May I ask Mr. Adams a question?
Sure.
Mr. Adams, just for clarification, the visual improvement program, the monies can be used for exterior only?
That's correct.
Does that include the parking lot, striping of the parking lot, or landscaping? What does that, if you just recap, what does that entail?
We try to make it as objective as possible, but basically it means anything that you can see from the street or the sidewalk, from the exterior of the property. In the early days of the program, we did allow a match on the interior, but through the years, you've revised that to just look at the exterior so that we would get maximum impact of our funds on the exterior of the property to make a visual impact. It's called Visual Improvement Program, so the idea was to make that visual improvement, hopefully that would cause surrounding property owners to improve their properties, and that would be a catalytic effect.
Does that include the roof?
Yeah, anything that shows. I mean, if you've got a roof that needs repair and it doesn't look so great, it would be something that could be eligible for reimbursement.
Okay, thank you for that clarification.
Okay, thank you. Item number 6 is discussion and possible action regarding the undertakings of the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency in connection with the First Amendment to the Entertainment Visual Improvement Program Agreement between the RDA and Creative Nightlife Concepts, LLC, located at 111 South Las Vegas Boulevard, to be in compliance with and in furtherance of the goals and objectives of the redevelopment plan, and authorizing the execution of the amendment by the RDA, and this is in Ward 5. Mr. Adams.
Okay, on this one, what we're doing is going back and reconsidering a project that we had previously participated in the entertainment district, this being the downtown cocktail room. Back on October of 2005, you approved a total grant of $52,500 for the downtown cocktail room, and I have a sketch of it on the overhead that shows what you originally approved, which is a brick facade and some signage and overhang improvements as part of their development of a new nightclub in the entertainment district. What we're doing is going back, and the property owner has asked that we reconsider a request to hang a blade sign on this property and reconsider funding for that blade sign. Now, under the rules at that time, under this program, the illuminated portion, we had a bonus for signage, and we've always overmatched in the entertainment district to encourage property owners to add more illuminated signage. Our whole goal there is to create a very illuminated, kind of retro Vegas look in the entertainment district through signage. So in this one, we're asking your consideration of an additional signage bonus of $4,789, which would pay for the new blade sign, which is this sign here, which would be located just above their overhang of their building. And under this program, the previous grant, there was a signage bonus of $10,000, and he only used $2,500 of that bonus. So we're asking your consideration of funding 100% of this amount to really pick up what he didn't use the first time around on the signage bonus. And so that's what is before you. It's simply an amendment. This one's a little different than our other ones, to our prior VIP agreement that you had previously approved, to simply add this on and make the necessary findings and documentation to amend the previous agreement. And staff recommends approval of this. Michael Cornwaith is here representing the Downtown Cocktail Room if you have any questions.
Mr. Corwith?
Good morning.
Morning.
Scott explained everything. I have a sign that's on the facade of the building right now. It's sitting on top of the overhang above the door. And what I hope to accomplish with this blade sign is to catch some of the eyes that are traveling up and down Las Vegas Boulevard. So right now, if you drive by the lounge, you won't see any signage. So what I really would like to see happen is to put a blade sign on the front of the building, which would be visible from both the north and south.
Thank you. All right. Any other comments or questions?
Mayor Goodman?
Yes.
The blade sign has a picture of a glass, a martini glass?
Right.
That's our, isn't that our seal? Isn't that the seal of the city of Las Vegas?
Betsy, do people drink anything other than martinis?
Not under this administration. Did you want to be heard? All right.
Tom McGowan, entertainer. Will there be a sign on the front door that says entrance so somebody knows how to get into the building? While I'm waiting for you to gather your thoughts on what the reply would be, I recommend approval of the exterior signage, regardless of what the amount is, because somebody has to know where this place is, and above all, how to get in. Thank you.
Through the door.
All right.
And Your Honor, I've got a question.
Yes.
How's business for you right now during this
It's good.
economic turmoil?
It's not, it's not where I'd hoped we'd be at this point. In January, we'll be at 2 years open. So certainly above expectations for the first year. And I think things have slowed a little bit in the entertainment district. And so in an effort to keep the momentum going and not suffer too much from our state of the economy, I'd like to be aggressive about this. And
If I can, Your Honor, are you recognizing, have you got a good clientele of repeat customers? Are you noticing new
absolutely.
faces? I mean,
both. There are new people all the time, and I certainly have a pretty solid base of regulars. So I don't have any complaints or concerns about that.
thank you. And Your Honor, I just think every now and then when we have an opportunity to get these folks in here, they're in the entertainment district, kind of get a feel of how things are going, because, we promote it tremendously as a city council, and we want all of them to be successful.
Mr. Corwith was very active as far as promoting that whole area down there. As a matter of fact, we had a session earlier this week regarding 601 East Fremont, and he sat on our committee actually judging what new projects would be going into that particular area. So he has not only a monetary interest, but I think a personal interest in our success, and our success is his success, and vice versa.
Absolutely.
Okay, Councilor Barlow.
You got another guy there.
Could we have public comment?
Well, really not, but if you want to be heard, I'll hear you.
Thank you.
You take your hat off.
I'm Teddy Russell, a resident of Las Vegas. I have been to the Downtown Club. The decor, the taste, inside and out, are really quite remarkable. I very much like the new and the addition of the blade sign, and I understand the operation of the secret door, and ostensibly the way that works, according to his son, entertainment columnist, is people fumble and can't get in, and the people inside are watching with some amusement at the drollery. For $5, I will tell you where the secret door is. That's all I have. Thank you very much.
Barlow? Captain Barlow?
Yes, I want to thank Mr. Cornwith for the great job that you've continued to do in the entertainment district downtown, and really being a part of the vision of what we're trying to accomplish. And so for that, Mayor, I would like to follow the recommendation of Mr. McGowan for approval.
Okay, let's vote, please. Post. Motion carries. Good luck to you.
Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
Thanks.
Items 7 and 8. 7 is discussion and possible action regarding a subordination, non-disturbance, and a tournament agreement between Rarula Hayward LLC, Telemundo Las Vegas, Inc., and the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency for Fremont Square, formerly known as Neonopolis, located at 450 Fremont Street in Ward 5. And a companion item 8, discussion and possible action regarding a parking license agreement and FAEC Holdings Rarula LLC and the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency to grant 50 general access parking pass cards in the structured parking garage beneath Fremont Square, formerly known as Neonopolis, located at 450 Fremont Street in Ward 5. Mr. Adams?
Okay, these two items it's appropriate to take them together because they do connect. They both are in regards to commitments that have been requested of the redevelopment agency in regard to securing Telemundo as a tenant in Neonopolis, or Fremont Square now. There are really two basic things we're considering here. One is a subordination, non-disturbance, and a tournament agreement between the owner of the Neonopolis, Telemundo, and the City of Las Vegas. And what's happened is Telemundo has signed a lease and a commitment to go into the development subject to certain conditions being met and committed by the redevelopment agency in the city. One of those is this item, number 7, which is that their lease would survive any foreclosure action on the property, especially on the air rights improvements, in particular anything that we would take by respect to the note that we hold on that property, or any other note holder that might occur on that property. What that really means is if there is a foreclosure, they want to survive it. That 5-year lease that they've committed to with a 5-year extension would survive any of those types of actions. And we felt this was an appropriate thing in order to secure a major tenant that would brand this project in a very, very positive way, the way we see it. Clearly, any anchor tenant that goes into a project would not want to be thrown out after they made a major investment to go into a project through any type of action like that, and we certainly didn't want our note to stand in the way of that. The second item, which is item number 8, and let me back up a little bit. On the item number 7, I do need to read something into the record. I've given you each a copy at the after we had submitted all our documentation into the clerk. There was a last-minute change that was made, and I need to read this into the record, and I'll just state it right now. The subordination, non-disturbance, and a tournament agreement between the City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency, Rarula Hayward LLC, and Telemundo Las Vegas, Inc., for Fremont Square, located at 450 Fremont Street, shall be null and void upon the termination of the lease agreement between Rarula Hayward LLC and Telemundo Las Vegas, Inc., should Rarula Hayward LLC fail to meet the contingencies within their lease agreement. That just simply means that if their lease is terminated, then this is null and void. I mean, and that we felt was appropriate. I wanted to read that into the record. That was added to this agreement as an addendum, and you have that addendum in front of you. The second item respects a parking license agreement between Warula LLC, the owner, and the redevelopment agency. And it does several things, including also recognizing this subordination, but there's two business points that I have to point out that we're committing to here. One is we're providing 50 pass cards to the owner of Neonopolis for employee parking at no cost. And that was one of the commitments. Telemundo needed 30 employee parking passes for their employees to commit to go into this project. Now, we provided 50 as part of an initial commitment we made to them to not only secure Telemundo, but possibly secure other anchor tenants. If you remember, you may remember at the time, they were entertaining Cabo Wabo and other major anchor tenants, and our reciprocal easement agreement that's in place that governs how we coexist between the parking garage and the air rights improvements, the Neonopolis development, provide them 50 parking passes. Now, the difference is that provides it at prevailing rates. We're simply committing those at no cost as an incentive to secure this anchor tenant and possibly others. And then the second item, business item, in this parking license agreement is, as you know, we've come before you periodically to extend a parking validation program to the development to provide for reduced parking for customers of the project. This agreement extends that parking validation program through Telemundo's agreement, which is a 5-year lease with a 5-year extension, or if we install a new parking system in Neonopolis. And I mentioned in briefing that we are considering the installation of an automated parking system to replace the booth attendants that are there. Those are very expensive operational considerations. By going to an automated system, we can reduce our operating expenses in the facility and at the same time be very flexible in how we can validate parking. We're actually looking at installing that system and then looking at the rates in Neonopolis to possibly look at a reduced rate that would induce more customers to come into the project. So at that time, we do that, we would extinguish this validation program and then replace it with whatever we come up with at that point in time. So those are the two business points. We're providing employee passes as an incentive to their employees to get them into the project. Secondly, providing for extension of the validation program, so we're not having to come back before you periodically with this, with that request. It's exciting that Telemundo is committed to this project. I will tell you they are moving their operations from Spectrum into this project, including their broadcast facility. They will have all of their satellite dishes on top of the facility, their broadcast facility in it, and that's a major investment and a major brand now that goes into this project, and certainly a movement in the right direction in terms of repositioning the project for success down the road. And we welcome them into the project, and with these two agreements, we have satisfied those preconditions that Telemundo has set forth in their lease, and then we'll move forward with their occupancy and execution of the fulfillments under that lease. We do have two representatives of Telemundo here, Cecilia Chavez and Richard Bennett, that might answer any questions, should you have any. And Joshi is here as well. Now, I do need to make one disclosure, and I would be remiss by not making this disclosure and then have you find out after the fact, and that is we ran a title search on the project, and there still are sewer liens on Neonopolis that are in favor of the city that have not been fully paid by the owner.
How much?
The outstanding balance, I believe, is about $35,000. And I just wanted to make that disclosure. I talked about it with Joshi this morning. I thought they might have been satisfied by this point in time. We've been monitoring it. And he indicated he's made $10,000 in payments and plans to continue to work with those. They're tenants that have not paid their water and sewer bills, and he owns the tenants, and he will continue to progress and make those payments, but rather than speak for Joe Shedd, let him do that himself. But I felt obligated to make that disclosure at this point in time, since we're making concessions to this project at a time when they still have outstanding debt to the city on the project.
All right, thank you very much. Before we hear from the folks from Telemundo, Mr. Rohit, what's the story?
There's a $45,000 sewer bill. Owners have already paid their share, which is $10,000. We're asking the 3 tenants to pay theirs. If they don't pay by October end, we'll pay it.
October what?
This month end. If they don't pay, we'll pay it.
We'll accept your representation. You always take us down to the wire. Always take us down to the wire. But you come through. Before we hear from the Telemundo folks, could you give us a little update as to who your present tenants are and what we may anticipate as future tenants where there's a realistic possibility that they will sign leases?
I want to first of all thank you, Mayor, and council members as well as the staff that has worked very hard to get Telemundo finalize the transaction itself. Additionally, we have a playhouse that's coming in the 3 vacant screens of the Galaxy Theaters. They'll be opening their first play in the month of December, so I hope you can all join us for that play. It's a Shakespearean play, so it'll be very good to have it on the 3rd floor. Theaters are still operating, but they're having difficulty because of parking, and Scott and his staff is working with us to get the parking resolved. On the 2nd floor is an exciting event because we opened a fine arts museum, which is a 25,000 square feet with an artist center. 50 artists are at work every day from 9 to 9. Last night we had the first session, and they're all excited to come and join our art center. On the 1st floor, we have 3 restaurants coming in, and they'll be here today for the SUP approvals. Those are exciting tenants.
All right, thank you very much. And now I'd like to hear from the folks from Telemundo. Mr. Vez?
Good morning.
Well, what do you intend to do there? What can we anticipate Telemundo's presence will bring to our downtown?
Well, hopefully a lot of exciting things. We're obviously going to be broadcasting out of the location. We do have our local news bureau that will be covering the Las Vegas news, as well as commercial production, the continued sales efforts, and as events become available and special promotions come to us as an opportunity, we'll definitely be out there in the community and trying to get as much exposure as we possibly can.
Will there be any interactivity between the patrons of the East Fremont Street and the Canopy who are going by Indianapolis as far as Telemundo?
Well, I certainly hope so. I mean, we're definitely open. We want to be good neighbors to everybody and hopefully forge very nice relationships. Obviously, signage is also very important to us. We have the LED that we're planning to move forward with, as well as the canopies around the Indianapolis area. So it's all going to be very brand new, very pretty.
All right, very good.
Very attractive.
Any questions? Comments? All right, thank you very much. Mr. Bennett, did you want to be heard?
No, I'm fine.
Why don't you tell them about our process, our plans to move forward?
Okay, yeah. Basically, we're being very aggressive with this. We've teamed together with our network division in Miami. NBC Universal, of course, is our parent company, so we've got New York and Universal Studios involved in the planning process. We are going to basically try to get the station into Indianapolis before February sweeps, which is incredibly aggressive, but we think we've got a good team involved. So we, with this process and the SVPs later on today, we should move this project forward very quickly.
Very good, thank you.
He's going to be working very hard.
Okay, Councilman Barlow.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. One thing I can say is that Telemundo is a welcome addition to the downtown community, so welcome, and we know that you will be a success. I do have a couple of questions for you in respect to Telemundo moving into the Indianapolis. How many employees are you bringing will be housed inside of your venue?
There's a little over 20 employees.
20 employees?
Mm-hmm.
And if you will, just again, explain the level of programming as far as what is it that we can anticipate from the Telemundo and its overall programming aspect.
Well, we receive the programming basically from LA. We feed it out of the station. So basically, as far as local programming, we're looking at the local commercial production, any local initiatives that we can start driving, whether it's health vignettes, anything that's related to health, anything that's impacting our community. We try to communicate that through a series of different types of PSAs throughout the daytime. As far as regular programming, again, that's all fed through a network, and our news it's coming out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
And how much of, you alluded to the sign package for Telemundo. Do you have any renderings of that sign package, or what, in fact, can we anticipate from the signage as it pertains to Neonopolis?
We actually do.
I'm working on that. I knew it was coming. Actually, if you wouldn't mind, I'll start with the layout of the site, and we can discuss.
That's fine.
Is that the proper way to?
Yeah.
Okay. Basically, what we have here. Basically, what we have is, and I can't see it, and well, that didn't come out as well as I was hoping. What we intend on doing is on these outside canopies.
You can pull the microphone toward you. Okay, great.
These crossbars here, you'll see on the inside section here, these are canopies. We'll be replacing all those with very nice blue canopy with the Telemundo T on it. Part of that is part of the SUP process, where it will help block the view of the satellite dishes that will go on the roof, so that, as you're walking down Fremont Street, 4th, 3rd, Las Vegas Boulevard, you won't be seeing these unsightly satellite dishes. In addition, on this section, right in here, we will put we are intending on putting a 13 by 23 foot LED monitor with Telemundo above it. I can get those renderings in just a second. And then on the fascia here, a very nice Telemundo sign that will match the Fremont Street neon. And if you can give me just a second, I'll get those.
Thank you. And Ms. Chavez, if you will, while he is pulling up the rendering for the additional signage, would you explain to us if, in fact, you will be teaming up with any schools or the university in regards to their journalism programs or internship possibilities? What is your outreach, your community outreach, consist of as it pertains to Telemundo here in the Las Vegas community?
Well, as you know, we just began this year. We had the first Hispanic student salute, and we basically honored 7 students. It's a work in progress, but I am looking to partner with the different schools and universities. We actually honored high school students as well as college students, for their contribution and their continued development. So we are looking forward to that. I've only been in Las Vegas for about 8 months, so it's a work in progress, and I'll be happy to share with you, the progress that we make with that. But that is my intention, yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
And he's still looking for that.
Okay.
We're presently looking for the LED monitor version right now, but what we have...
Now, let me ask you this in relation to the LED monitor. Is that a visual as far as what you see in New York, as far as
It's actually being designed by the same people that did our Times Square monitors, the NBC monitors that you see in Times Square.
Correct.
The only difference is this is the Times Square monitors, and most of the monitors you see in Las Vegas are called, they're measured in millimeters, and the LEDs are 16 millimeter apart. The unit we're getting is one of the latest technologies. It's 12.5 millimeter, which will give it a high definition. You can be right on top of it, and it'll look like a TV screen, which is something, we're trying to take the project to the next level. Very expensive, as you can imagine, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it right. In this photo here, basically we've decided to flip the colors because white, not exactly a good awning to have with the dirt, wind. They'd be yellow is our fear. So we're going with blue, and the Telemundo T will be white, and there won't be as many as they've shown in this rendering. There'll basically be one Telemundo T per every 4 panels.
And that's on the interior, correct?
This on interior and exterior.
Okay.
And I'll show it. The reason why. As you're on Fremont Street, the satellite dishes are behind paddock, which is a 4-foot rise. There is a small possibility that you might see the top section. We've gone through with different surveys and found by putting on the outside these canopy panels, it will completely block the view so that you'd basically have to be on the parking lot on the top level to see the satellite dishes from the ground. We want to do the best to make it visually nice and to do it right. In addition, you see the Telemundo sign. For those of you that visit that area, the purple section, the purple wall, it'll be right in the middle. We're also, as I believe we have in the agreement, we have this whole top section on our floor. Any additional signage that needs to go up for future projects, we're leaving room for as well.
Okay. Now, as far as the eastern wall facing Las Vegas Boulevard and the northern facing, is that Ogden, your back street?
Northern is Fremont. I'm sorry, Ogden, yes.
Ogden, as far as the north. What type of signage will be on those walls, if any?
Those signs will be for the specific tenants, like you will be meeting them today in the afternoon session, which is Wet Ultra Lounge. They're going to put up their signs on the Ogden at Las Vegas Boulevard, and the Las Vegas Museum will put up their sign on 4th and Ogden as well. So they are mainly talking about the Fremont Street closer to 4th is where their signs will be coming in for Telemundo.
Right, and the reason why I'm asking these questions is because I'm concerned about individuals, coming into Neonopolis, because prior to you taking ownership, I've always felt that Neonopolis was from the inside out versus the outside in. And so to attract more people and more customers to come into Neonopolis as far as the destination point in downtown, I believe that we're going to need to really look at the signage to attract more customers into the venue. So I appreciate that.
If you don't mind, real quick. We do have other signage that we are going to advance on after we get through the initial project. What it comes down to is we can't do it all at one time. In the economy, and nobody's going to hand you millions of dollars to do a project. You got to do it in phases. The bridge area that's on Fremont Street, we are looking at doing a sign underneath that bridge. It's basically finance. You got to take steps as they go. And
Mr. Joshi will lend you the money after he pays the sewer bill.
Right.
I'm going to ask her for a loan from Oscar Goodman, so I just want you to know.
Mr. Adams, would agencies such as Telemundo have the opportunity to apply, for example, for their visual improvement program as far as their signage, or how does that work for setups such as this?
Typically, what we've done in situations like this is work with a tenant. Probably the best example was the Mulaski Corporate Center, where we provided VIP commitments to a couple of the tenants as part of their commitment to go into the project.
Right. And so they will have an opportunity, should they choose, to apply for these
Yes.
dollars?
Yeah, they could apply. That would be the best way to do it, would be to have the tenant do it, and then the owner would make certain commitments to the easement agreements and the maintenance agreements as part of their package as a tenant.
Okay, great. So if there's no other questions or comments, Mayor, I'm ready to make my motion.
Questions or comments? All right, then your motion, please.
Okay, my motion would be, don't leave yet, Ms. Chavez. We want to make sure that you stick around and make sure that we vote for your item.
Okay, please.
Okay. With that, Mayor, I would like to move to follow staff's recommendation for approval of this much-needed and attractive addition into our downtown community.
We'll take a vote on item 7 first. Let's vote on that, please. Opposed? Motion carries. And item 8, please.
Yes, I would like to move to follow staff's recommendation as amended for approval.
All right, thank you. Let's vote on that, please. Opposed? Motion carries. Good luck, folks.
All right.
Thank you very much.
We
We
look
appreciate it.
forward
We're looking forward to moving.
We're looking forward to having
very
you with
much.
us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, item number 9 will be trailed to 1 p.m. To be heard prior to the start of the afternoon session of the City Council meeting. But we will have citizens' participation at this time. Public comment during this portion of the agenda must be limited to matters within the jurisdiction of the Redevelopment Agency. No subject may be acted upon by the Redevelopment Agency unless that subject is on the agenda and is scheduled for action. If you wish to be heard, please come up to the mic, give us your name, and we'll put the 3-minute timer on, please.
Tom McGowan, Las Vegas resident, candidate for election to Clark County Commission.
No, excuse me. Let me.
First of all,
wait, excuse me. I want to ask the city attorney, Mr. Jervik, is this appropriate? I mean, if it is, that's fine. If it isn't, then we'll stop it.
It's citizen participation, Mayor, and it is generally accepted during citizen participation if it's within the jurisdiction of the agency.
Right.
In this case, it's allowed. Anything outside of that is within your discretion.
Right,
but
fine.
the
Go
message
ahead, please.
itself is case by case.
Right.
That means this is America, apparently. Thank you. As I was saying, candidate for election to the Clark County Commission, District D. And that's a fact, not fiction. This is for the mayor to explain the next part of this presentation. And goes like this.
Thank you.
I was over to Pearson Community Center last night and spoke to representatives of the state legislature. They're as concerned as you are about financial difficulties. But this is called the Las Vegas Recovery Project, Tom McGowan Plan. You can get out of the $150 million budget shortfall anytime you're ready. And it's time variable. You can do it as little as 1 year. You can take as long as 5 years. But it can be done with no reduction of qualified city employees. I'm talking about staff persons, but pay close attention because you are the first ones to be at risk in every other circumstances. I don't think you need to be let go at all. I think you need to be encouraged to remain and even work harder. I think you can do that, and I think you can do a better job with no loss to the city or the taxpayers. And that's what this is about. If you're seriously interested in saving this city and improving it as you go along, you know the number to call. You've known that for 18 years. Anytime you're ready, I'm ready. But one condition. We'll wait until after the November 4th election. If I'm elected, you can have the details. If not, you can make up your own, and I'll be watching very carefully as to what your success level may be, if any. In the meantime, good luck.
Thank you very much. Would anyone else like to be heard?
Record.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Can you take your hat off, Mr. Russell, please?
My hair is a mess. We
That's all
discussed,
right.
we
You can
discussed
take it
this
off.
before.
Yeah, but you can take it off. There you go.
I'm tremendously heartened by the developments of the Neonopolis. It's been a mystery wrapped in an enigma as a way of restoration and making this work. With regards to Telemundo, actually in the United States there are only two, Univision and Telemundo. In my opinion, Telemundo is far superior. The design structurally and fundamentally of Neonopolis would be far better in a much more benign climate. I do recommend some kind of concept or design to put all first floor portals under doors or have doors. Also with that, there could be some cooling and canopy. It seems to be amazingly cold in the winter and amazingly hot in the summer. And I would like to remind all of our downtown businesses that in times, hard times, we should turn up our smiles and our good manners much better than we have been. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to be heard at this time? All right, seeing none, the Redevelopment Agency is in recess until 1 p.m. when we're going to hear RA 17-2008. The morning session of the City Council will begin at 9 o'clock this morning. That's in about 15 minutes. Thank you.
Oh my God. How did you sit down? It's quite
Basic consent item, spell transportation. Did you get that package I dropped off? Did you get that package I dropped off from Crescent Hardy on the golf thing? I left it upstairs for your office the other day.
I never get anything. I never get anything. Will you please call my phone and say you
Okay. Okay.
I never got anything.
She's going to recall it and vote to send them in. That will make these papers and then they'll take it. There's amendment. No, we're going to do the bill first. I'm sorry. Sorry. Keep me straight. Keep me straight. No heart attack.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before we begin our afternoon session, I'd just like to make a public statement of condolence. It's interesting when you sit in a position such as myself as the mayor and my council as councilmen, councilwoman. It becomes almost like a family after a while when we have personal situations in our lives that we bring back to City Hall, and we sometimes celebrate with one another, and other times we have condolences with one another. And one of those incidents is present today. Michael McDonald, who was a councilman of Ward 1 for so many years, and maybe one of the best sons of a parent that I've ever met in my life, who really doted on his parents, both his father and his mother. I was advised yesterday that his mother passed away 6:30 in the morning, and tomorrow there'll be a visitation, and then on Friday there'll be a service. I won't be able to be there on Friday. I'm going up to Reno to meet with other mayors throughout the state, but certainly will be at the visitation tomorrow. So on behalf of myself and on the council members and the city staff, we all are praying for Doris McDonald and for the McDonald family. All right, now with that, we're going to go back to the Redevelopment Agency meeting that we had this morning, which we recessed until 1 o'clock today, and I'm going to call item number 9, which is RA 17-2008, discussion and possible action regarding a resolution authorizing the issuance of City of Las Vegas Redevelopment Agency tax increment revenue bonds and the execution and delivery of documents relating thereto in an amount not to exceed $195 million in 3 series with the 2008A and 2008B bonds to finance certain capital improvement projects in connection with redevelopment projects in wards 1, 3, and 5, and 2008C bonds for affordable housing projects pertaining to all wards. Since we're now back to hear this item, I'm going to call upon Mr. Vincent to report to us what efforts were made to sell the bonds today.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mark Vincent, Director of Finance and Business Services for the city. As you know, we were trying to sell about $23 million worth of the RDA bonds this morning. The markets have just been, to use a term of art, crazy the last 5 weeks or so, and we've been, as you know, trying to sell some bonds for a while and have been unable to do so. This morning we were able to sell about $3 million of the $23 million in bonds, mostly to smaller investors or retailers. They were priced to sell at a little over 7% interest at a blended rate, which in my mind is high, but it seems to be what a decent pricing for the market. The feedback we got from some of the large institutional investors was that the bonds were priced right, but that the market still just isn't, well, people just can't seem to pull the trigger to buy the bonds, and so things are still a little unsettled. Had we wanted to proceed, Stone & Youngberg would have underwritten the portion that wasn't sold, but they wanted a premium of about 25 basis points on top of that to do that, so that would have brought our rate up to about 7.3%. You know, it's entirely possible that we're entering into a new period where rates are going to be higher than in the past. We've I've been here 10 years, 11 years, and we've enjoyed very low rates this last decade. Maybe that's over. I'm not willing yet to concede that, and so since we don't need the proceeds right away immediately for a project, it was my recommendation, my decision this morning to pull out of the sale, and we'll bring it back to the RDA on, I think it's the 19th of November is the next RDA meeting. We'll try to have another sale at that time, and maybe by then things will have settled down a little bit more. So
your suggestion would be to obey it then until November 19th?
I would go ahead and strike the item, and we'll just bring it back as a new agenda item.
All right. Before we hear the motion, I was just advised by Councilman Barlow that the market went down 763 points today. So we are living in different kind of times, and we have to adjust with the punches. And we're prepared to do that as a city. And Dr. Selby, I think you should set up a meeting between me and the various heads of the city unions, because I want to sit down and talk to them before December the 3rd and see where everybody stands. These are different kind of times, and people are used to. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I just wanted to ask, why would you not sell the $3 million that we can sell? Are we going to sell that or not?
The $3 million is not enough to accomplish any of the projects that we had on our RDA project list, number one. And number two, we would be paying 7.3% interest, which by my calculations is probably 150 basis points higher than we should be. What ends up happening, just like your own mortgage, if your mortgage rates go up, you have to buy smaller of a house. That's the same issue here. When the rates are up 20%, that means we're going to have 20% less proceeds. If we were to go forward with any kind of sale, we would have to scale back our projects. We may have to do that eventually, but I'm not quite yet willing to concede that, and since there's nothing pressing for us today to have the proceeds, with be it $3 million or $23 million in our pocket today, my recommendation was to not have the sale and just defer it to November 19th.
All right. So. Thank you very much. I may have a motion, please.
Yes, Your Honor. I move to strike this item, please.
All right. Let's vote on that,
Following
please.
staff recommendation.
Thank you. Please vote. Post. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay. The Redevelopment Agency meeting is now adjourned. And we're going to move on to our